And here he is, the guy we were just watching as he smashed up Alpern 2-0, is now against arguably a slightly more formidable opponent in the north. It's Qualies, who is... He's so underrated, Ed. He's so mysterious, enigmatic, and he's causing quite the upsets so far in this tournament.
The Russian Rey Mysterio of the Go2 community is Qualies, but he's got German mechanized option, always a Chad maneuver there, and he does have Jaeger infantry, boo, pretty meta, and spearhead doctrine for some extra spicy fragmentation bombs with the old Tiger tank and recon. Very good on this map, especially with mortar half tracks. And what doctrines have we got for the old Inca boy map?
For Inca, we've got the following. We've got airborne, we've got the possibility of rifle, or even some recon support. So we'll have to wait and see how Qualies plays. Maybe Inca will base his choice off that. So this is redesigned Crossroads ML with no red cover at all on the roads there. So it's what the players voted for. And it's just got the munitions pushed up and the victory points made a little bit more accessible. It's just meant to... Oh, and flanking routes. You just saw the rifles emerge through a gap in the edge that didn't used to be there. And basically, the whole premise is you just promote movement without going 5 victory points. I just said to White Flash Bro, can we try and make the 3 victory point map a little bit more mobile? And this is where we've gotten to now. It's now a player-approved version, tournament version of Crossroads, meant to mean we have maybe 40-minute games instead of 1 hour and 20.
And that big change, Matt, just psychologically now, when you're YOLO pushing with your USF big blobs of squads, there's no red cover now to kind of catch you out on your retreat path. So I think it would favour attacking players, that change.
Yeah, that's the hope. That is the hope, indeed. Qualies, by the way, one reason he does go German mechanized, he's a very visual player. Not much tac map utilised. He's a camera rotator. This is his perspective shown now. Here you go. There's Qualies' perspective. He's very visual. He has this wide angle, and he looks at you from the north, facing southward. And that's one of the reasons he often goes for spotting scopes, is just to give him even more of an outlook.
Yeah, and good first little engagement there by Qualies. Had the old MG42 ready for the suppression. There's no big wall near that fuel anymore, so I think that really helps out the top player. Because now the bottom player can't get a squad in there and just sit there behind the green cover, defending the fuel from afar. So Qualies utilising these map changes very well early on. And we see an extra big bush, I think, Matt, on the western front, just below the fuel. It didn't used to be there,
yeah,
so
sorry, this is all
changed
about
that way
it's just
instead.
pushed it along in the gaps in the west side of it now. So it's not the fact the bush is there, it's the gaps on the left. That's what it's about there.
Okay, yeah.
And there's a few more bushes as well. If you check out the little house in the centre, there's one above it, and that means you can't pin the northern player in. It basically mimics the south. There's just a few little quality of life changes, a few little balancing tweaks. Nothing major for Crossroads. Didn't really need it because it used to be the best map in the game. It just fell off its pedestal a little bit with the arrival of Amelie Fields and arguably some of the love and attention the other maps have had.
It's all about horses for courses, and definitely seen some interesting USF selection again by Inca. He just must really back himself on this faction, and against Alpern, no one could contest that. But it is a risky one going USF on this map against good old Qualies. As Austin, Matt, he didn't go for the OKW, so he's definitely sticking to the tried and true.
Look at this as well. He's really fancying building a little patch of S-mine somewhere is Qualies. Meanwhile, he's using the Sturmgeschütz as cover. One thing that was helped from a rotational camera view is you actually get to see that Sturmgeschütz. Rifle nade threatens easily. Actually, not fully dodged. The rear echelons kept the rifles off base. He's going to lose manpower now. He needs to recognise that. He needs to hard retreat. This is manpower waiting to be lost. And he does retreat in the end.
It's one way to put it, but nice hold there from Qualies. Did tie up a lot of squads. I don't know if the rear echelons are going to win this. And because of that no red cover, Matt, they can stand there all day long in the middle of the road, and they do win it. So Qualies a bit annoyed there with the map change potentially, but good stronghold from Inca with the rear echelons.
Well, they have ample time to test, to change, to iterate, and this was a vote, by the way. The players voted 16-3 to remove
Wow.
red cover, so they're not fancy it seems.
Were the 3 very attacking players who didn't want the red
No,
cover change?
they were traditionalists actually. They were defensive that wanted. It was Theodosios, Dutchman, and one other person. They were defensive
So
players.
they want to punish you for your pushes, yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
sense.
I guess. And well played on you for seeing it that way, because players are so self-preservation whenever it comes to these votes or feedback. I once remember Nagano in 2018 was arguing that OKW needed huge buffs. At that point in time, they were incredibly powerful, and he used them in every tournament. so just stuff like this makes me realise the players, of course, will always vote for what they want. That'll help them the most. Mortar coming out from Crossroads. Ed, of course, that makes you very happy.
Yep, we've got our first GG mortar of the day, and very happy indeed. We do get the meta command of Jaeger infantry doctrine locked in for Quirds, but who can blame him when he puts in that spicy mortar into the mix? I'll forgive it. And yeah, I'm intrigued to see how many camo squads he gets going and what kind of traps he can lay for his opponent.
Look at this. This is brand new to Crossroads. In the west, Inca-Una's pushing up to take their munitions. You can connect that without having to take your opponent's very deep northern cutoff now. It's one of probably the best and most obvious changes of the ML variant of this map. Stuart's now out, followed closely by an ambulance. So that's certainly going to be helping Inca-Una's pressure.
Yeah, not all agree with the GG mortar philosophy, but I just think it's such a good way just to passively put pressure on your opponent. You don't really have to control it that much.
There's no argument against that, Ed. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You're completely right, and I don't think many people disagree, to be honest. For example, Nagano and Isilda will go for a mortar when they need it. Meanwhile, Gren under pressure. Stuart pushing in. Can they get the kill here? Stuart's looking for a long-range kill there on the Grenadier. Actually got a juicy
very
shot
passive
on
with the Stuart. He knew the Gren had been pushed back, and he's fighting the other 2 Grens in the west, so interesting read from Inca there. Didn't push. Maybe he thought the old telemine in the base entrance might have been there, but
I just think he's wary
let him
of
off
the
there, yeah.
pack, or maybe, he doesn't want to go in. But, it would have been nice to see him go in for that Gren kill. I think it was possible.
Either that or the 2-2, yep. Possible. But here we see the cookie cutter build in action from Inca. He's going the same strat again. And I think Quirids may have watched the previous games because he's gone for that mortar knowing the 50 cows come out so early with the lieutenant build. So I don't know how much research they do on each other in between games. But I do favour Quirids in this kind of camper's wet dream of a map at the moment with his build. But Matt,
is
triple cap for the Blues. Yep, so.
I like your tactic of stopping me speaking sometimes. You're like, I've finished a point. I've started a new point.
That one didn't count.
So, I think Hectorix is a highly underrated player. He's also got the kind of style that is a big thorn in the side for players like Inca. He's very patient with his play, and he slowly overwhelms you, and it's like a mini Isilda in some ways from Quirids. Not quite as aggressive, obviously, when Isilda can turn on the aggression, but he's got that kind of, patient-orientated play. It's the mortar! Great shot on the rifles!
He almost retreated his own Grens too early, but he wasn't to know that the GG mortar bug splat was pretty much inbound for that rifleman squad. Good hit there for Quirids. He's going to hit 4 CPs before his opponent. And the 2-2 skips away.
Yeah, well noted on the command wheel. That's one way to recognise the amount of damage done. We can actually show that on the stats as well. Decent KD so far, and damage dealt by Quirids is slightly higher. Over to the graphs, you can see that the army value of Inkosi has dived, apparently. I don't know why that is, but points held has been higher for a large portion of the game.
Indeed, the Experion of Code2 community checks his opponents in companyofheroes.com first, man. There you go. So some players make use of a bit of research.
Ooh, 2-2 in peril. Bazooka going for him, but he's thwarted at the last by the LMG. Grenadiers forcing him away. Meanwhile, Stuart's back online. He's looking to continue this assault. He's taken now double fuel, and he's got no signs of stopping. We've got a Dushka in a very damaged house here in the centre, and he needs to be careful, to be honest.
I do always feel like despite we're watching the best players of this game, it's still, I think the most common lax thing, Matt, is not backing up your light vehicle enough, if you know what I mean. There's no point keeping it in harm's way of a bazooka shot there. May as well put it all the way back, totally safe, and then fix it at home. It doesn't cost you anything else.
I suppose, yeah, it's one of those things, as they're so used to being dominant in auto match and stuff, these small bad habits.
Yeah,
bad habits of being such a dominant player. You come up against a fellow dominant player, they will exploit it. You do need to be a bit more careful because it's not an auto match game. It's a tournament game, and people will seek to bloody and batter you at every opportunity. Now, look at this map control from Inca. This is dominant. 3 victory points, 2 fuels. Qualies is back on his haunches at the moment.
Yeah, and it's just great play, holding his VPs, making it so hard. Every VP he goes to, he's either got an MG or a squad to contend with. And yeah, Qualies just trying to find those angles at the moment. Potentially this aecohmatt squad could help open up the can a bit on Inkaruna's stern defense here. aecohmatt getting a nice hit on the rear echelons. They have to back out, while the engineers can push forward on the 50 cal group.
We all saw Qualies versus Gibber. It's got about 7,000 views on YouTube. Qualies looked like this versus Gibber for a long period. Gibber, of course, one of the other most improved tournament players in recent times, along with Inca. And lo and behold, despite being down on victory points, down on fuel, he slowly worked his way back into things. So do not be thinking that this is going to be a stomp at this point in time.
Yeah, Crossroads has that almost Jove feel to his gameplay where, you know, once he starts amassing this wall of defensive capabilities, it's very tough to break him down.
Talking of which, second MG is about to hit the field. That'll add to his defensive capabilities no end.
But on the other side of the coin, Inkaruna now, to pump up his own offensive abilities, got BARs on all his riflemen's, Matt. That's very good timing. 11 to 12 minutes, barred out of your mind. Flanking the MG well there. Pretty sus setup from Qualies, but the GG mortar still pounding away. Great health damage.
Yeah, on that last rifleman squad, all 5 models were hurt there. And yeah, Qualies did push up and take his victory points. And briefly caught his fuel, but not for too long. He's going to have to get double pack this game because his Panzerfall won't be close enough.
Major's still sitting AFK at home. Could be brought out onto the field just to provide a little backcapping option, but yeah, Inkuna, I don't know what he's keeping him around there for.
Well, now we've got the BARs and the bazookas out. Maybe he could consider, you know, getting a major artillery barrage. Especially we've got the the MGs.
Pushing tool, yeah.
Bit of reconnaissance as well possible.
Yeah, it's got to be my most underused ability personally as USF. I always forget about the major recon.
Yeah, it's a very good ability. Most people use it when they've got stuff like, obviously, a Calliope or something, or a Priest. It's a great opportunity to use it then. But yeah, it doesn't really synergize with the rest of the USF. Unless you're planning for a huge flank. But to be honest, you have a lot of infantry, so you often have sight lines anyway.
Yeah, and one of the reasons as well, Matt, I mentioned the CP points earlier. Qualies basically needs a beeline rush towards 8 CP. Once he's got a light artillery barrage operational, he can push these 50 cals and really upset his enemy's positions, or even plop it on a retreat path. It's fairly obvious, there's 2 exit points of this map. You can normally utilize it to get some wipes there, but we're seeing double pack for Qualies and a mortar, GG mortar in return for Inkaruna, Matt.
Nice.
Whoa.
Mortar versus mortar. Qualies is actually suffering one other element in this game. This version of the map only has 10 standard territory points rather than 12. So usually on Crossroads, if you don't have your high fuel, you would have a standard territory point here that would be raking in kind of natural resources for you. But in this case, Qualies is going to be behind, and that's why he's had to go for the second pack. And he's got such a large kind of tier 1, tier 2 build now. That's maybe why the mortar's on the field. It's going to help so much against double pack, double MG.
Yeah, look at this Berlin Wall being amassed now from Qualies. You just see the completely dissected in half is the map, and that's good for Oster. You know, if you've got 50% of the map, that's still good. Very
Really
hard
good
to push
call
into.
Really good call from top 10 tournament player Von Aston in chat. He says the first Sherman has to do a really good job. And you can't understate that enough. Although aecohmatt has had the advantage, as USF you have to continue to keep the advantage. And everything you bring on the field has to have a shock factor, has to be able to garner momentum. We're going to have to see more of that now as the LMG Rifleman. What am I on about? Barred up Rifleman come in with Stuart's support. Sherman's not quite there yet, but it has been able to force away the Jaegers and Grenadiers. Meanwhile, in the west, we've got an engagement with the Grenadiers holding the line, but Qualies has consolidated his map control for now.
Oh, Grenadier does go down, and despite there being no red cover, just outside the base of Qualies, that's a big price to pay. Just a bit slow on the retreat there, got overwhelmed by the barred up Rifleman, and yeah, great wipe from aecohmatt.
Yeah, good kill on retreat there. Grenadiers down, as Ed mentions. Sherman on the field, looking like it's going to go west side. That's
Cheeky minefields on the fuel on the left, but the Vet2 mortar does need to pull back. Oh! Just after it nearly wipes the lieutenant. Did you see that hit?
Yes.
Oh, they were clumped like a really tacky mascara job. Yeah, that was bad there from Inca's spacing on the lieutenant. Oof. Mortar doing well, but it does have to get out of dodge.
Sherman there with its, it's not loaded HE shells, so it didn't really have fire on effect on the MG.
I don't know, Matt. Sherman versus double pack. You feeling good about that, or
I'm not.
What else do you go, really?
Okay, the only way I'm feeling good about that is in the following scenario. We've got mortar smoke as a possibility. We've got rifles. If he goes, it sounds silly, but just trust me. If he went grenades as well, it would be interesting because he could push in and wipe.
Dev
Yeah, indeed. Yeah,
liking that idea.
Yeah, that's one way I could see it working, but otherwise, Qualies is way back in this game, despite the Jaegers just getting attacked by the Sherman there.
And I did ask at the start of the game, well, I wondered whether ambush camouflage would be utilized by Qualies. Holy hell, it is. He's got it on everything except the mortar, which he can't do it on, and the Pioneers. So really good utilization of his commander there. Hidden MG42s, crouching Jaeger squads. He got the whole lot.
Indeed, as the rear echelons are sweeping the S minefield there. 222 watches on as the Stuart gives chase. We've just had an airdropped AT gun, so we're definitely in for an old-style, long-pitched battle Crossroads game here. Pack through the bushes. Stug's no longer there. 222's back in up. Packs are doing the same as the rifles push in from the flanks. Inca with a really good assault here.
Yeah, it's just nice flanks, utilizing that left western flank so much. Qualies feeling overextended all the time. North Crossroads, bit of a devil to defend, especially if you're a bit more immobile like the Osteo are compared to the AQW counterparts. But here comes the Sherman, no teller in the base. Ooh, just got some good HP damage on the corner, but no dice on any model wipes.
Indeed not, no, but look at this map turning blue yet again. The Panzer IV comes onto the field, and we should see the red tide re-emerge from an ebb to a flow.
Yeah, Qualies got his P4 though out. Losing that Gren did hurt him a lot because he hasn't been able to wipe any of Inca's units, and yeah, that anti-infantry capability of USF is just so strong.
Gain a second Browning 50 cal. Panzer IV going up the west side. Rifles forced to surrender their position. Panzer IV, will he go stationary, go for one more kill? Here he goes. Misses, hits the exact centre of the squad.
He did the first part right, but yeah, it's just got to be VPs on the mine now for Qualies. Nothing else matters. Oh, not holding fire with his Grens though. Could start doing that maybe to get a cheeky Faust off. Sherman meanwhile getting a big rogue. Oh, P4 should have stayed in there. He knew HE was
smokes
selected.
Out the pack. It's going to force an attack round. Panzer IV goes back in with Jaeger support, but the Sherman's out of there. Qualies again just about holding the line and reclaiming his resource points, but he's down on victory points considerably. He's going to have to start to do more. He can't just hope to defend his quadrant now. He has to push to the centre because he's down to 152.
Yeah, and he's going for a lot of barrages with the mortar as he is doing now. Again, it's Vet2, 8 kills. but I think he could be utilizing the smoke a bit more. Smoke in, cap the mid, and then pull back and defend it from behind the green cover with the LMG guns. Instead, they get red pin Matt, and that's a lot of time. And he doesn't have much of that on his side at the moment.
Certainly doesn't counter barrage used there, or just barrage rather, forcing away the US mortar. Ends capping the central victory points. Looks like Quirits has heard us.
Well, he got a bit lucky there that he got unred pins, so he'll take it. Good MG42 though in the mid, forcing back Inca's rifleman. Another Sherman on the field. Oof, looks tough job now for Quirits. Does have a lot of manpower, but not much fuel.
No, that harassment from Inca's really beginning to tell with a double Sherman versus a lone Panzer IV, and he's a long way off a second.
1 kill on the 2-2. Just look at the difference between Inca's 2-2 of the previous series and Quirits. 1 kill, but it's still Vet 2. So he's just keeping it hella back, hella safe. And he just wants that vision from the unit. Interesting to see the different styles.
The Scouts unit, isn't it? It's amazing how the balanced teams of the years gone by, maybe 2017 era, started to push the 222 into being more of the scouting unit. And now, in the past couple of years of tournament play, we've really started to see that come to full fruition. It's so good to have a proper scouting unit in Company Heroes 2.
Yeah. And the ability to manage it well really separates the wheat from the chaff. But here we go on the western side. This is such a late retreat. We talked about Elpen's good early retreats. This could be curtains for the LMG Gren, but both Shermans were on armor piercing rounds. Kind of saved the day for that Gren.
Indeed, Inca's entire army's on this western flank. He smokes out the MG in the pack, but there's more waiting for him. Oh no! There's one Sherman down to pack fire from afar. Inca threw the dice there, and he got caught off guard, and we did as well. Did not see that happening, but the big he does take an MG. He could take this here. We've got to be worried though. An LAB, light artillery barrage deployed by Quirits just to stop him taking the weapon. He's got 3 rifles, all down to 2 of them down to 3 man. So he's going to elect to destroy the weapon.
Yeah, double bazooka on that sneaky lieutenant as well, Matt. Can't sleep on that one. It's going to do a lot of damage over time, if allowed to. Pack gun moving forward. Bolshy stuff here from Quirits, but he needed it, and he got a very important wipe there on the Sherman.
Oh god, that was a big shot from the Panzer IV. The lieutenant is lucky to escape. Okay, so Quirits, nice kill on the Sherman. He may be down to 144 victory points, and he may have lost 260 manpower HMG, but he's seemingly still in this. And don't forget as well, he's got a Stuka anti-tank strafe he could use as well. He just took out the M1 that's not been on the field for very long. That would be a nice little find.
If one of his triple delight trio of Pack 40s can take that out, that'll be a big win. And a huge manpower cost for Incauna, who's slightly losing a bit of grip of control here. Is it jibber jabber jabber against Quirits all over again, Matt?
It might just be Quirits. It might just be how he plays. You know, he's not afraid to lose the early game to win the war. As the M1's now unveiled, there's no more smoke, so one of these 3 Pack 40s can of course destroy it should he need it. That rear echelon's only got 3 men, so he can't crew it without a sacrifice. And Quirits is pushing in now, Asher Blar style, versus Isildur in the Quali 1 finals.
He's A-clicking a damaged tank wreck though. That was a bit weird from Quirits with his LMG Grens, but they finally sort their lives out. Whereas the M1 AT gun's about to go down if he does some attack rounds, possibly.
Yeah, it needs to be. Can't attack move it anymore because the Sherman again has smoked it out. And we're just now seeing a Stuka anti-tank strafe on the Sherman. It would seem.
Stewart goes down with it, so that was a great pickup for Quirits. He's just, wow, he's just turned the armor around in this great battle on its head. So suddenly he's got the armor advantage with a second P4 coming. And Incauna's manpower's bleeding on traditional USF style at the moment.
There we go, M1 down, Stewart down. We've got an S mine coming, well, down on that point there, and a second Panzer IV coming out. I'm not all about his sexuality. I mean, he's coming onto the field. Here he is.
Yep, no closet required here, folks. This is all out warfare straight out in the open, and
Get off the
everybody's
couch, Panzer IV. We all know. We all know what you've been up to in the barracks.
But as you contrast to the previous series map where Elpen didn't really make use of that 3-minute window, it's almost like aecohmatt fell into the same trap. And he had the advantage. That first Sherman that Von Asten was touting about just wasn't fully utilized, was it? And he couldn't close the jar on Quirts, and now he's wriggling out. Yep.
Just DevM with some commentary. Should have used double or triple Sherman push for the P-47s. One of the best things about the airborne. If DevM says it, it's probably true, but he's not even a tournament player anymore, Ed. I mean, I don't know how much we can listen to him. He's been pushed out of the tournament scene about a month ago. I know he played for 10 years previous to that, but not really relevant anymore, DevM. You're going to have to listen to ranked 400s casting, I'm sorry. It's all about...
yeah, we've got to call everything OP because we can't balance it with skill. But DevM, one of the best in the world. Still is, despite not being allowed to play. I reckon he can still.
How cool is it that he won his last tournament, though, Ed? He won his last tournament.
Went
That's
out
badass.
On a high. Best way. You don't want to end up punch drunk and lowering down to rank 1000 games like me, getting owned by everybody. So he got out on top, which is good. Double rifleman though, trying to get out on top whilst they're still alive. That was a nasty shot from the P4 through the hedge. I've got to say, Matt. I'm impressed with Quirts' attack rounds this game. It's been on it from start to finish.
People need to get on this rotational. I've been preaching it for years, but this is just watching Quirts' perspective. It's so calm and methodical. It's like when Hannibal Lecter's killed that police officer and he's about to wear his face. And he's listening to classical music with a glass of wine.
Yeah.
You know the scene. It's like la la la.
I've tried for years to forget that film, but now you're flooding back the PTSD. But Jackson on the field, about to take on a P4. This is not a fair fight.
No,
and especially with the Zooks. Ooh, I think it's go time for Inca.
Could be. The Jackson's the way to play it. Helping Hand styly, and one of those few 1v1s he's played this year. He's been relying very much on the Jacksons as USF.
Okay, Matt, this is the rank 400 IQ test time.
Okay, sure.
Does aecohmatt tech nades and throw him around like DevM early game, or does he listen to DevM somehow from chat and save his munis for P47 strafe?
Okay, I'm trying to think what US does in the meta in tournaments now versus an unholy, immovable object of Wehrmacht OPness. 3 packs, 2 Panzer IVs, and a Vet 2, 2 mortar, 2 MPs, 3 vetted infantry, and a Pioneer. I'm thinking that this game is over and he should maintain the fetal position and cry. Or or he tries to get a veteran. He's getting a veteran Jackson and go for pack howitzer.
This is not financial advice.
Can he get? He can't get a pack howitzer drop on this command. That's recon, but he could get. He's kind of screwed.
Yeah. He's lost his timing window, one could say.
But USF can be viable in 1v1 without being aggressive. The way to do it is Jackson and pack howitzers.
No, he's got the Teddy McFluff soy mobile on wheels. It's the Scott. I didn't think of that. He's gone full 2v2 meta. Okay, let's go. Inca back in the game. It's going to be
let's go. Can you adjust your let's go to be appropriately enthusiastic for his chances? Because I think your let's go is too enthusiastic.
Let's go.
No, that's again. It's more of like a let's go. You know, up at the end.
No, man, come on. You can let's on the football field or something. Your captain.
What after Stephen Gerrard's
still
one goal
confidence
against AC Milan? Well,
not pessimism in your team.
Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's die with dignity. Anyway, no, to be fair, Scott Jackson, it is possible. He just needs to somehow rescue victory point control from this.
Have Pathfinders been banned from this tourney use? You know how Austrian was. Wow. No, so it's just a very honourable choice from Inca not to.
No, it's just
to utilise that.
They're not as good as they are in 4v4. That's all.
Fair enough, but my god, their vision is insane, especially on weapon crews.
I mean, it's one thing you could consider, but if they've not been out this long, they won't have veterancy. Don't they require veterancy for the Mega Vision?
Yeah, Mega Vision, but they still got Wampa Vision.
Oh, okay.
Straight out the box. Yeah.
Alright, fair enough. It sounds like you're selling them. Are they available at Toys R Us, perhaps?
Yeah. In blue and pink. But yeah, so with the full PopCap Qualies though, you know he can't like amass anymore. So Incoon has still got wiggle room because he can just jump out of all his vehicles and make infinite amounts.
Right, so his name's Khabib Nurmagomedov. It feels like Incoon is versus Khabib, the former MMA fighter. And right now he's up against a supreme wrestler that has an overwhelming body, size, mass, dexterity, and skill in this build. How do you on earth wrestle out from this?
Oh, here we go. Improved recon flight. Don't know why it's improved, but it's been utilized, which is an improvement on his position previously.
That's not improved, Ed! It's in bits! It's in several bits! That's terrible! If that's improvement, I want the old version. That was a terrible...
One slight problem though for Crossroads, Matt, that I think we've ignored or missed is that he's only got one 3-man Pioneer squad with a spanner trying to fix all his tanks. He can't keep it up. Whereas USS
He's also at
can
99
jump out.
pop cap, Ed. Again, this is some of your accountancy skills, isn't it?
Whoa, sail, everything.
I like your positivity though, Ed. It's always
Buy
good.
more GameStop, because this is bad news for Crossroads. He's got very annoying tasks now to fix up all his tanks. Whereas in Kuna,
so his biggest issue, he's got a behemoth gargantuan mega army, and his biggest issue is maintenance.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's become a real big issue when Inkaruna's absolute armada comes swinging in with Scott smoking, Sherman smoking, Jackson shooting from the other end of the universe. Could be tough here for Quirds. He can't get too comfy on those laurels.
At least the cast is still going. We've got this incredible dynamic of pessimism versus optimism.
But look at the VPs, Matt. Like, Inkaruna's chilling. He can let Quirds think he's boss for like 10 more minutes more and then still awaken the sleeping giant and just nuke him out of existence.
Yeah, true.
Plus, he's got $225 for the old rocket strafe, so DevM's happy.
Maybe.
Still on, Matt.
You say so.
You just want every game to be 8 minutes.
No,
like,
I can see it. I struggle to cast when it's like, to me, it's like, Kurtz right now is so impossible
Look
to
at
beat.
this a couple of years ago. I get absolute deja vu now. I think it was DevM against Loveness, right? Loveness a million miles ahead. Suddenly DevM makes a couple of Scots. Bye-bye Loveness, 5 squads of Obers. And DevM wins. So USF aren't out the race yet. I know it's not the same 2 players, but anything's possible. But double GG Mortar versus 1 GG Mortar. That's my only concern.
Expensive Runner says in chat, he's a great player by the way. He says we've got to see more usage of smoke with Scotch. He means the Scot, of course, as the recon overflight, this time not deleted from the sky. You've got to agree, I mean, if you're up against this, Ed, the only thing you've got is smoke that'll really help you get back into things. And, of course, bloody tech grenades as well. Give your infantry the ability to add chaos to the system and cause problems.
One thing you got to consider is the Scott smoke's free. The smoke on the Sherman is $30 a pop on munitions, so it's just got to be a bit mindful of that. I like this cheeky flare from Quirits now, from the Jaeger command squad.
Yeah.
Not utilized that much, and it's only 30 munitions. Wow.
People
Cheaper
saying
than
in
the
chat this is
Soviet.
the most boring game ever, and for the last 10 minutes I would agree. However, I do feel like we're building towards the
The calm
crescendo.
before the storm, yeah. Get ready,
Yeah,
folks.
just chill, bro. Bloody hell. We gotta have patience sometimes. Oh, rocket. We got a super strafe. Ah, that was action movie-esque there. Driving.
Yeah,
from the Jackson.
Quirits coming in early with the AT I think that was a bit of a panic buy, but yeah, I just Yeah, that's $110 down the drain, so he doesn't have that for later. Or he doesn't have it for a light artillery barrage, more importantly, which is a very underrated ability. And that one-man Pioneer squad, Matt, I think it's costing Queers big time not having double pyres.
Maybe.
Just rifle nade one of your GG mortars, decrew it, and then get another Pioneer squad, I'd say.
Shut up, Nagano. Nagano's the reason we're seeing changes to Crossroads, everybody. In the last 2 years, Nagano has been involved in some of the most boring Crossroads games of all time. Soviets entirely in this screen here. And he forgets that if people don't enjoy the games, they won't pay the money to give him money. He gets second in every tournament, so he gets, you know, £450 every month.
Low-level plot twist. I think Nagano's just a bit sad because Kimbo's not around to beat up on anymore. That's my view.
They did have a bromance. They really did have a bromance.
Bring back Kimbo and Nagano's fine.
Well, to be fair, Kimbo and Nagano both have pictures of each other on their computers, don't they? They have loads of screenshots of each other's faces. That must be a bromance, surely.
Okay, if you say so, yeah.
Oh, Bazooka's in on the Panzer IV. He's going in. He's got the possibility of rifle nades. Can he get it? No. Jackson goes in for one last shot. Gets him. Needs to get out of there, Owen. Can the Jackson survive? Rifle still running rampant. This was a good attack. A very good attack. P-47's in as well. Pack now under attack. Indeed, it goes down. The Jackson survives. Rifle still in there with a shout. Mortar getting some pressure on it. But yeah, there they go. Inca with a good attack, Ed.
There you go. No matter how much Queers can amass in force, Incuna has the sledgehammer of the P-47s backed up with a Jackson there and just made Queers' defensive lines look ordinary. And it's the 222 going down as well to the planes. Oh,
nice.
P-47s just don't know when.
Did they just do that? Yeah.
It was outside the circle as well.
Oh my god. So, by the way, I was just about to draw attention to the fact that the Pyos went down, so now he's not even got Minesweeper Pyos, he's got Vet Zero Vanilla Pyos. So the 222 goes down, Panzer IV, and then Pyos. This very boring game, in inverted commas, was very interesting for the last 30 seconds. Now recommence with our stalemates.
Yeah, it's not going to be constant action, but when it does happen, it's going to be big. And in Karuna, despite that huge push, Matt, and very effective one, Queritz holds the mid VP, so... Good defense there from Queritz despite the losses. Needs to... I don't even know if he needs to recrew a third pack. I wouldn't even bother with it. Just keep it tried and tested
got his vehicle crew out, did he? What did he do there? Did he manage to escape from one of the Shermans before it died or something?
Oh, as in he's got an extra repair crew, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Interesting. Expensive Runner again with another insightful point in chat. Of course, USF do have a power spike in the late game with the population cap system. If it's ultra defensive, of course, they can abuse the
That's why I said
feature.
He can go infinitely more than Queritz, because Queritz has to stop at 100.
Feature. Definitely not a feature. I do not believe Relic put it in deliberately. They just lied and said they did. Because it got drawn to their attention and they were like, yeah, it's a feature. You know, it so wasn't. I'm sorry. You find me that developer that said it was a feature, and we'll give him a proper questioning.
It was like the AVRE could reload on the move forever, and then no, sorry, the Sturm Tiger could reload. And if you press reload and it got shot, your thing would abandon. Apparently, that was a bug. So, I don't know, a bug that exists for multiple years doesn't get changed and then suddenly gets changed when it wants. It's kind of weird, man.
No, but that was the community balance
guessing.
Teams, didn't they? They did such a good job. They caught so much crap over the years as well, including from people like me, you know. And in hindsight, the community balancing teams did an amazing job with this game. The quality.
Well, you didn't know really whether it was a bug, a feature, anything, but yeah, they've managed to sort out a lot of things.
So much stuff got sorted. Yeah, so much
Yeah.
stuff got sorted. It's not much of the balancing. It's the balancing features. Vet 2 Jackson now, by the way, so it's got superior well, it's rate of fire for USF. My bad. Jackson Vet 3 could be hyped though if he gets there. And Panzer IV's going to get forced off. There he is. Another big shot in. Pack 40 is reeling. Victory point situation update 237 to 144. So this game has legs and it knows how to use them.
Yeah, but Queer's doing a very good job of just holding 2 VPs at all time, Matt. Pretty attritional warfare, and if you've noticed, aecohmatt hasn't gone up the left side of the map in about 10 minutes, even more. So he's getting very predictable on his entry paths, like in boxing or anything. He's got to switch up them angles, even go around the far right, just basically get Qualies turning this imaginary line around, making the move rather than hitting it head on.
Really good point, Ed. It's one of the reasons we opened up all these flanking routes, and they do exist. You can push in from the left side, but players are creatures of habit, and when they're in, you revert to form. To use yet another one of our litany of boxing metaphors, you revert to form when you're under pressure, Ed. And we're now seeing standard, predictable Crossroads gaming as the players are under pressure. Oh, Pat 40 could be decrewed here. This is, well, sorry, not decrewed, taken. He's pushing in with double rifles. He's got lieutenants, all of his units actually. He's backing up in a big way. He's getting well in there.
Rifle day goes swinging in, doesn't help. Vet 3 mortar, GG goes down. Really rough. The P4 could even get snared up here if he...
Oh, what a crush there!
Oh.
Panzer 4 crushes everything underfoot, going in a big way there. As Inca's under a lot of pressure. He's managed to keep his rifles alive for such a long time until this happened.
And he's gone straight up to pump again, Matt. He can't hear us, it seems, and he's walked straight into Qualies' guns there. I like that crush of the P4 though. Stayed around, even though he knew he could get snared. It was dangerous, but he made it work out. And that mortar, Vet 3, what a hit. Yes, Sumi, that was a good old mortar wham bam, thank you ma'am. Combined with a P4 crushing anything remaining, so good pick up there for Qualies. Just coals
So
the
the
rifleman.
mortar got the kill. I knew it wasn't the Sherman when I was calling it out because it doesn't have, sorry, not the Sherman, the Panzer IV, because it doesn't have the kills. So yeah, the mortar, look at that thing, 18 kills now. What a hellacious shot that was. Another strafe coming in here. This is an LAB, just trying to buy time.
Oh, not very lucky with the scatter there.
No.
It's a bit too far up the pitch. Just needed a bit further back, and I think that would have been LMG pushed off.
It was double artillery. It was major artillery on the support weapons and then an LAB on Inca. So they're trading artillery here. Qualies has got a job on. He's, as I say, he's had to finally, Ed, he's gotten that second PIO you were requesting so long ago. Big call from you there, and he's answered you. But he needs to get some of these support weapons back. He needs to get some of the support weapons back ASAP. He's doing it. He might recruit with Grenz. He's got this pack, don't forget. He might have to take it with Grenz.
aecohmatt pushing up the left for the first time in about 12 minutes. Here we go. Jackson popping. Sherman bouncing as is tradition. But Vet 3 P4, it's going to have insane fire rate. Vet 2 Jackson, not too bad.
Grenz pushing in. Yeah, indeed. Veteran 2 Jackson so close to Vet 3, I presume, Ed. It's getting there.
Yeah. One more hit and he'll be Vet 3, so yikers. Qualies got to watch out on that one, but he does have double packs, whereas Inca doesn't have any AT guns, so he's going to have to do this the old mobile USF way.
Right, got these Shermans are doing some good work as well, just allowing the rear echelons to tango with a vastly superior Jaeger command squad. They are forced away in the end, but the Scot could have blacked them there.
Oh, comes the clips.
Oh, indeed.
It just pinches away at your squad. It's horrible to go up against. So I don't know who's more triggered, aecohmatt or Qualies at this stage, because Qualies is like an immovable object and aecohmatt is trying to become an unstoppable force. So here's got the stalemate. The VP still haven't equalized, man.
Ren's hurt there. Qualies just suffered some big manpower casualties, and that finally allows Inca to get back in there. That's that indirect fire and the high explosive rounds from the Sherman. Just gave him the impetus to keep the central victory point, quite frankly. So in this battle of control, he also annihilates the Vet 3 MG crew. This is going really well for him, and he can now destroy the weapon itself. There it is! The Scot absolutely decimating everything that stands before it.
Yep, like a true madman, he's just going straight up the pump again. aecohmatt does not care. Middle or death is his mantra.
Oh, another huge mortar around there. Rifle under pressure. Dun 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 dun. As they're forced off, but a lot of health remaining on that last soldier.
I don't know if this was intentional, but nice Sherman play, splitting up the 50 cal weapon crew so they won't get hit by a mortar or rifle nade as easily. MG42 goes down.
Indeed, 3rd Panzer IV on the field. Quirtz is getting aggressive. He wipes. He's coming in from multiple angles here. He's got packs coming up as well. He's going in a big way. And here comes the flank. He uses the new flanking route to his advantage. 1 Panzer IV is down. Can he get a kill on the Sherman? No, he misses there. Fresh Panzer IV on the field looking for the kill in the end as the Jackson backs away. Vet 3 on that bad boy. Look at this army from Inca backing up. And Quirtz keeps advancing. Vet 3 Panzer IV is now getting bazookaed in the rear. Can he keep up the assault head? What's going on out there?
Yep, 50 cal goes down, another Sherman goes down. He needs 1 hit on this.
Huge hit now! He takes out the Vet 3 Jackson! Every Panzer IV! And then, there it is! The Scots is taken down! The Vet 3 Panzer IV dies as well! Everything's dying on Crossroads right now! Every tank got taken out in that engagement! It was absolute brutality there! Fantastic stuff!
A very ironic bow impression voice. I can't believe this game was the most boring one ever, because this turned on its head. 45 minutes, we had to wait for it, folks, but worth the wait. Vet 3 Pack 40 just plinking away at all those tanks. He managed to bring up all his squads very well there, Quirtz, with the combined push, whilst Micah and P4 is going out of like blitzkrieg mode, so well played both players, but Inca Una left decimated after that. Triple cap for Quirtz, Matt.
I have to say that was one of the biggest ever stick or twist moments in in Code 2 history, because Quirtz, a very defensively minded player, just chose to stick in the engagement, and he got his just desserts. He carried on, and you can see the warpath, that Vet 3 Panzer IV, which by the way was here originally with 2 bazooka squads on its ass. It was able to stay in the engagement, and it curtailed the Vet 3 Jackson, the crown jewel of Inca Una's army. We get a double Faust off there on the Sherman. And there's a Vet 3 pack.
Vet 3, yeah.
Oh, one more shot here.
The P4 could chase it
down.
down.
There's a Faust as well. What play by Quirtz, this madman.
He could steal it.
The vehicle crew jump out, they jump back in. Faust has to reignition, and there it is, the Vet 3 pack. Quirtz wins this game, Ed. This is a win of the game by Quirtz. Yeah. He did not just outlast Inca Una. He played defensively, yes, but then when he needed to attack, he did. And when he needed to stay in the attack and commit all of his forces, he didn't need to be asked twice. He knew when to pull the trigger. Great play.
Like a star quarterback player in Blood Bowl, he had nerves of steel perk, I think, this game, Matt, because to just sit there on such a VP deficit and not worry took a lot of balls, and he's done well here, but it ain't over. Inca Una's still wanting to decrew all these weapon crews. Guess the
look at this! This could be a great comeback for Inca the Romanian.
We're going to lose the Pios.
Could lose the Pios as well. He's going to get 2 packs here. What the hell? He's got the defensive linebackers. He's got the defensive linebackers protecting his new investment. However, they're all Vet 3 LMG Grenadiers ready to rescue it back for Quirtz. He's got to gun them down as quickly as he can. Vet 3 Rifleman with the double bars come into the situation. Yeah, there we go. Packs decrewed. Where's this Panzer IV at? Needs to get back in there. Quirtz senses it, and indeed he does.
What was that? Like the most 9 billion 5-head play to tactically bait some wipes? I don't know. But it just looked like Quirtz took his hands off the wheels for a second there.
He was trying to cut, dude, in the south with the Grenadiers. He had to repair the Panzer IV. There was no tomfoolery around. It was just good exploitation by Inca, pushing up the middle, and Quirtz had to defend, and indeed he did. Now Pat's recruit, Sherman's under jeopardy and forced away. Inca has to rebuild his army, and Quirtz still has a substantially sized one. 58 pop cap to 31.
I'd almost feel an Ostwind here for Quirtz. Could be quite good with the double pack and P4, but I'm sure he's just going to save for that 350 manpower and pump out the P4. Yeah, he's not even reinforcing his squads. Yeah, so that would be the choice from him. And wow, just totally unpredictable game here at the moment. Inca Una's still clinging on with his fingernails to the game.
Yes, indeed he is. That's what I was about to make it. He's on his fingernails right now. You can see with the vehicle crews, he's actually not doing too bad on army value. When he recrews, he shouldn't be too far off, really. Quirtz does have an advantage, especially with the 2nd Panzer IV about to hit, however. Saying that, the Sherman's about to hit. No, it's not as... I suppose the difference is support weapons, isn't it? Because you've got 3 infantry... No, you've got 2 infantry squads. Sorry, for Inca, that's the rifles and the lieutenants. However, Quirts has an extra infantry squad, and he has 4 support weapons, sorry, that Inca just does not have. It's the mortar, the stolen 50 cal, and the 2 packs. So Inca has to do something about those support weapons, and that push up the centre, Ed, that chat was describing as messy. To be honest, it was pivotal. If Inca was able to get away with the support weapons, it would have been neutralised, but as it is now, it's Quirts' game to lose. He has the driving seat.
Yep. And for the first time in the game, I think, he's gone ahead on VPs. Okay, it's only 20 VP difference, but still. 2 Shermans out now for Inca, so he rebuilt the Empire pretty damn fast here. And he's ready to slug it out again, but Quirts and Inca blew so many munitions as well. All the skill planes, all the abilities used. So it's kind of like another lull for a potential storm again. I don't know if Quirts wants to wait around too long.
Oh, he's going to have to go in here. He's got prioritised vehicle engaged. He needs to be aggressive, but there's double packs facing him, Ed. What can he do? He hasn't got the infantry support anymore. He's down to 1 rifle and a lieutenant.
And it's a 50 cal now. When a 50 cal stolen against you as USF and you don't have a mortar anymore, or Scott, it's really tough stuff to go against because the setup time just kills you. MG42 you can flank a bit easier, use vision blockers, etc. But 50 cal, that thing's just like a burpee machine. Springs straight up and ready to shoot.
Double Panzer Force gunning down the major in the west. Quirts is going to cap the western victory points soon as well. I do feel like this 88 victory points of Inca will be hard to defeat. And we're probably going to have a 10-minute break for the players between game 1 and 2 because this one's been hellacious.
Yeah. Looks like I'll be having my dinner tomorrow. But yeah, a lot of veterancy on Quirts' Gren still with that Jaeger squad. So if anything, he's still got that holding on, and they're pretty hard to get rid of, especially when you've only got 1 rifleman. So the Shermans are going to be torn, man, between do I use HE shells or AP just to defend myself against these P4s?
How does he rebuild from here? The death of the Vet 3, Jackson. That Vet 3 Panzer IV that died was able to get the final killing blow.
It was the fire rate that did it, as well as a ballsy all-in blitzkrieg usage from Quirts. It was great stuff.
Sherman low here in the centre. Lieutenant's about to die if he doesn't run away, and indeed he does. Airborne called down. They've elected for Thompsons.
Yeah, I could see that, getting close and personal around the hedges. You got a grenade. He's just going purely for wipe material now, it seems. The days of a long drawn out LMG warfare are over, especially against 2 Vet 3 LMG Grens.
Yeah, and Inca's back in base now. His entire army is back in base. In fact, we go to tactical map. Look at the infantry push in.
Oh, it sounds funny, that pronunciation of it. But look at this MG placement again from Quirts. Weird. So he's heard me actually in real time and reset it up. It was watching the wrong way. That 50 cal loss could be pivotal, I think, here for Inca.
This would be a big win for Quirts and his momentum because he's knocking on the door of the top 5, as is Inca Uno. They're around 6 or 7 in the world right now. And to beat your fellow knocker, it makes you king of the knockers, basically. You're going to have the rights to walk up to the castle and possibly humbly ask Isilda maybe for a grain of bread.
Right.
No. Just ask Isilda for a grain of bread, or maybe Nagano for a tip, and they may just look at you with derision and just say, get away from the castle. You're not allowed in the elite level. Go away. But they're getting close in current Quirts. And Quirts arguably closer if he wins this series.
Well, it's going to be the world's longest patch of KO2 history because there are no more patches. So everybody's established in the meta. Everyone's got an even playing field for probably the first time ever. There's no patch that can really favour you now because there's no excuse. You've got enough time to learn it. So as we get further and further deep into this meta map, it's going to be harder for the established players to hold their ground, I think, because everybody's learning, everyone's evolving. And yeah, it's just showing it in these games.
Though, Ed. It's a glory period, mate, because Code 1 had its last patch for 2 years in its prime with all the big Sunday Night Fights tournaments. 2011, 2013, we had one patch, and it was the best time for Code 1 because the players' meta developed. I think we've been left on a good patch here. Telemine, by the way, that could be pretty cool. Panzer IV's just soaking up pressure here. Sherman's been obliterated. They've rocked back, they rocked forth, and they're dead.
It almost felt like he tried to ram there. Like, realised he wasn't Soviets too late, but
one Sherman's made it through.
Third Sherman. Oh.
Maybe they're playing capture the flag. Maybe he just needs to get one unit through.
It's like sperms and ovaries, but in Sherman's reenacted. Okay, here comes the Thompson zone to wipe up. Yep. Oh. P4s are going to crush his dreams. And it's just been an astounding hold here from Kurtz. GG, game 1, 55 minutes slobber knocker. But yeah, great game, Matt. Well played to both players.
Yeah, it's a good visual to end on as well. There you go. What a game that was. That was truly best game of the tournament so far. And Quiritz in another fantastic series. 1-0 to the Russian from deep behind the Ural Mountains. Central Russian player. Mysterious dude. Very enigmatic and very nice guy if you ever get the chance to speak to him. 1-0 to him. Guys, you have to see this right now. Love Nest Theo in one of the most epic confrontations ever. It's on 101st channel. It's just unreal. Vet 5, Tiger, and IS2 just came in clutch and took out Panther. It's just an awesome game. Go check it out briefly.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2. Despite the hour-long Game 1, this is still Game 2 of the best-of-3 series between Qualies in the south, who's got shock rifles, defensive tactics, and guard mortars for that GG Mortar of Doom, Potentiale, and up against them in the north, aecohmatt, who somehow lost Game 1 despite having the greatest of USF starts, as Festung, Blitzkrieg, and Lightning War at his disposal. So here we go. Game 2, no red cover, Crossroads Gaming. Over to you, Matt.
Quite finished eating my pie clip, mate.
How long more do I need to stall for?
I believe it's called casting. Until the game is over.
No, I just use this as a method of stalling of the real stuff I need to do in my life. But yeah, procrastination at its finest. Hope
I don't know what happened with this Crossroads version, because I swear to God, this victory point, the one we were trialing, was here. We've moved them out to make the game length less, but I think it actually got closer to the campier player's base, so now you can keep them more easily. I don't know what happened. I think it might be a Relic server issue that we changed this victory point so it was easier to harass, and then it just jumped back again. And now we've got 1 hour games over and over again, and Ed theorizes that the players unanimously voted for no red cover. That makes the games longer as well because less stuff dies. I'm not sure about that personally, but we've all got opinions on why every single game on Crossroads today so far has been an hour long. An hour long. It reminds me of GCS2 back in the day.
I think it's just the map, not the play style. I'm going to have to concede at some point, but I like the map. It is fun. It's great as an auto match map, and yeah, we're just, the meta's set in stone. We know what pretty much builds people are going to do, so the map is that kind of nice diversification. So yeah, it's still got a great place in the map pool, I think, and it favors certain players' playstyles more than others.
Maybe we make it like a deciding ace game map from now on, Ed. So instead of having all the games on it, like game 1 and 2, you just have it as like the last game, the epic game, something like that.
Definitely. But I like this from aecohmatt. He's given it the big and in between the games. I know you can't see the chat, folks, but the players, obviously set up a little group and talk in between games, and he was not a fan of having to face a pretty campy playstyle for an hour. But he didn't pick OKW himself, and he's just given it straight back to his opponent how he got it. So yeah.
Game 1 was excellent though. It just had a slow middle portion, but the ending was amazing. The start was amazing. So 2/3 amazing. I'm happy with that. Just delete the middle 20 minutes from your mind, and it's all good to go. Flamers emerged from Qualies. He's going for an aggressive start here. Conscripts are surrounded and pounded, possibly though, with 2 Grens and a Pioneer gunning them down.
Great twizzle there on the spot from aecohmatt. Just presence of mind, getting his MG42 turned around, but a bit of a brain AFK, letting the connecting point get decapped. It's only 4 fuel a minute now versus 29 Qualies. And that's one thing we didn't mention last match, Matt, was just the sheer resource boost this map has for any player who holds a slight lead in territory. So if you look at it now, 47 munitions as opposed to 6. aecohmatt finally getting his back point recaptured. That was a big mistake from him, letting the
He never actually captured it though. He neutralized it and then just stayed there for as long as humanly possible. And that's the advantage of this bit of light cover that juts out into the point. And there is the equivalent here. There's a tree, so you can kind of do the same to your opponent, but it's not quite as useful, to be honest. Nice mine. Look at this. 2 Grens could hit this mine. This could be a lot of Grens to die. There you go. Just 2, but it could have been more.
Yeah, the spacing helped them out a bit there. They didn't both hit it sequentially, so at the same time, simultaneously, I should say. So there you go. 60 manpower, gone in an instant for Qualies against his opponent. That's good usage of 30 munis.
20,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town. It could have been. Bob, why
do you
coming on the
think
heavy...
the bottom house? Do a lot of people complain about the bottom
never.
house is superior to the top one?
Oh, you mean this
enough.
one? Oh no,
Big
they don't.
Lots of windows.
You know about the ones in the middle? When you say bottom house,
sorry,
no, they don't. The same. They're not that much different, to be honest, because this one has heavy cover facing it, And this one only has heavy cover here. It's just sort of relatively balanced, to be honest.
Sure, yeah.
One house is bigger and has more windows, but it has more things mitigating it. A bigger hedgerow to the south of it and heavier cover to the north of it. So that balances out just about.
Guy from the sky in chat says, good map for close the pocket. Now that's somebody after the same kind of warfare that I love. But yeah, sadly no encirclement doctrine available for Inca Una, but I would agree with you. Just cut off that base point and boom, map just goes inferno.
Owl camera work here.
360 no scope vision. And yeah, just steady game from Crossroads here. He did go for the double pioneer opener. Probably wants to sweeper early on. And I thought we could see Clown Car shenanigans. It is a big map, but against Ulster, I don't think it's worth going unless you Duffman the Brave. So got an early Flamer, but due to the good work from the MG42 of Inca Una, Flamer hasn't really been able to get much done.
Seemingly not so far. LMG Grenadiers versus the Conscript over here. And a bit of barbed wire on the heavy cover side as well. So good tactical plays so far. Crits are getting aggressive in the north. We've got a mine coming down. We've got a bit of, again, heavy cover. Denial with the fuel being harassed as well. So good play from the Russian. Playing as the Russians.
2 LMGs pumped up now for Inca Una on his 4 Grenadier squad's choice. Nice AoE attack ground flame usage there. And then nearly vet 1, despite the flame is not really doing much. Just look how fast an AoE damage weapon vets up those combat engineers. Whilst the other crew get vet 1, so that's very good down the stretch for crews for repair time.
2-2 soon to be out. We do have healing up in base for Crits as he takes the central victory. I have to say, he's playing very well so far, but we do have Inca Una pushing down the eastern side. LMG Grenadiers soon to have their scout. What have you seen, Ed?
Why did I speak of the combat engineers? They just went down to the glorious LMG burst from Inca's Grens.
They'd run away. I didn't keep the camera on them.
They
what the hell
did,
happened?
but they kind of tripped on a little pebble, fell over, died. So they didn't make it, I'm afraid. And Inca using on-map medics to keep that LMG squad back out on the field.
Yeah, I did not see that LMG wipe coming. We've got combat engineers down, of course. He rebuilds them instantly. Was it? Yeah, it was combat engineers, wasn't it, that died?
It was cheeky. I should mention as well from from Crossroads, he did try and stay to the last possible second to get the double cap. It was just pure greed. But
okay.
you can... He was so close to the full cap, you can kind of excuse it. And 3 models just went down in a flash. So first blood to Inca Una. And yeah, Crossroads, again, he doesn't mind coming from behind and clawing back a game as we saw last game. And this is the world's fastest T70, it feels like, but it's just so weird seeing a T70. Yeah, it wasn't even fast, but it's just... I got so used to... Soviets in the previous series not having it.
There's a mine there, needs to be careful, it's a Soviet mine. T70, as Ed says, it feels fast, but it actually wasn't. Chat was saying it was fast, but certainly... just going to hit that mine now, I'm so sure of it. Maybe not, maybe, there we go, it's hit the mine. Can the T70 jump in and take advantage? He's lurched into action, prioritized vehicle is engaged, needs to get there. What's going to stop him? Where's this pack at? It's wheeling onto the field. Could be a bit of a trap here. Got Pioneers coming into position. What a shot from the T70. He can now reverse away with his handheld high in victory.
Really good pickup there for Crossroads. And I swear Inca Una saw the mine getting laid down with the 2-2, so he must have been looking elsewhere, Matt. And another telltale sign is your squad being perfectly, symmetrical square formation after laying a mine. That could have been another telltale sign, which he just missed. So yeah, I said it before the game starts, just between ourselves, Matt, I thinking, because a bit triggered after game 1, getting so far ahead on VPs and then losing it. I don't think he's in the best of mental states for this game 2, but it's been a wipe either way now. But I gotta say the 2-2 is worth way more than a combat engineer.
Yeah, I mean, I think Inca Una, he got beat up by Kritz's aggression. He thinks he got beat up psychologically by the defensiveness of Kritz, but it was actually the aggression of Kritz that really possibly tilted him in the end. Because you've been fighting this guy that just is not doing anything seemingly. He's just there. He's like, it's repressive. But then all of a sudden he starts to smash you over the head with a club. And that's how game 1 felt. So, you know, although Quirix was very defensive, it was actually the big assault with the Panzer IVs that won the game.
It's just the human version of the working definition. Got to be in it to win it.
Yes,
and
indeed.
He stays there, and he's even done a really powerful dodge. Look at this shock rifle front line.
Nice.
So, shock troops and incendiary barrage, as well as hidden Ziz. Good barrage here from nowhere. It's looking a bit scary now for aecohmatt.
So this guy has 3 infantry kills, 1 vehicle destroyed, forcing away the Pioneers in the centre. aecohmatt's getting back into control there, but conscripts, combat engineers, and now shock troopers joining the fray, lying in wait, might I say, behind the house here. So Quirix is going to bide his time and unveil the shock troops for maximum shock.
Yeah, and we saw Inca really pressuring the left flank a lot in the early game of the previous game, whereas Quirix, after losing that first combat engineer on the fuel, he's fighting in a lot more condensed formation here. It's going to be tough with the shock troops behind the house.
Here they go. Yes, they jump out. Grens are forced away immediately, though. That was quick.
Good reactions from Inca, yeah. MG42 is a bit tilted the wrong way now, though. It's going to have to reposition.
T-70 will help him.
Yeah.
Give him a friendly pat on the butt. Just, you know, come on, reposition. There you go.
I've seen a lot worse hits on that. He was on the wrong side of green covers from the T-70 AoE, but yeah. Slight nerf to AoE, T-70's helping out there.
aecohmatt cannot be going a 5th Grenadier. I'm sorry, what?
Why not?
A 5th Grenadier? This isn't 2007.
I think he just wants to end the game in 20 minutes no matter what happens, so...
Yeah, but this is madness. He's not even going G43s. I mean, G43 5 Grens, that's a thing. If you're Paula or something. But
he doesn't have the doctrine for G43s.
No, he's got LMGs already as well.
Ones,
so
yeah.
what is going on here? 5 Grenadiers. And he's queued them up. I mean, that isn't a waypoint, that's an action. So it definitely was decided upon by the mighty Inca of Romania to go 5 Grenadiers. Yeah. That's going to be a lot of bleed, Ed. If these 5 Grens aren't dominant and played well with the LMGs and really kind of cleverly, it is just a self-own. You know, it's like hitting yourself in the face, because the 30 manpower reinforcement costs over 5 squads will bleed you out like a stuck pig.
Yeah. And then one thing that's really working for Quirix, which couldn't work for USF, is the utilization of mines. He's laid about 6 already in this early game, which is averaging a lot of manpower bleed or time cost of the Pioneers to have to go and sweep them. So really good work there from Quirix. It's doing them a world of good in this early game.
Faust coming out from the Grens here. There's T-70. Oh no, he killed the Fausti model, died or something. He ran away anyway. Shock's pushing in. They now have 2 kills, and they're just.
Yep.
Oh, mortar against the
cleared
pack,
the AT gun.
And then a follow-up incendiary artillery barrage. That's clever from Quirix. He wants nothing to come into the situation. Even his shock troops, very Soviet of him. Nothing to come into the situation to stop this pack not being stolen. This is a GG push by the Russian. He has demoralized aecohmatt, and now he's taking one of his biggest weapons. Although a rifle blade does come in, possibly rescuing the situation. Okay, yeah, fair enough. He rescued it. Good man, good man.
Got to watch out with his T-70 though. Can't get sloppy and overextend.
Oh, we've got fresh combat engineers pushing in from the western flank. Pack 40 still full health. Nothing spoke to shot in. Another conscript emerges. This pack's going into Russian hands.
Yeah, and Inca, almost like pre-programmed robot, is just going all the way out the mid. There's no relief squads round the right. Does get a Faust onto the T-70, but there's no follow-up available at the moment.
Look at that play! That's epic. He just keeps it stationary like Loveness would. Quirix has improved so effing much. Big hands up. Hands up, hats off, whatever the phrase is, to him. That was great. He's knowing what to do in the right situation. He's calm and methodical. He's a killer, Ed.
Yeah. And this huge buff to conscripts, getting 18-8s and Molotovs in the same upgrade. It's utilized so well by Crossroads there. And it's just keeping that point. Look, he can't start decapping it. Mortar hit of the dreams. That's your 5th Gren gone down, Matt. GG, written all over that mortar shell. Oh boy, that was a big clump up from Inca. He's come at the same angle so many times in the last 2 games here. Did great against Elpun, but Quirts has really tested him, and he's been found wanting, just mixing it up, coming into different avenues. And I think, yeah, like I was saying earlier, the tiltation of the previous game is
Ooh, new
strong.
verb alert, tiltation. Love it.
Don't know what it means, but you get the idea.
I know what you mean. The tiltation of the previous game has he's not been in
Still
this.
lingering, yeah.
But can I put? I just think Quirts has been a player in the last 2 years that's always played Master League tournaments. He's gotten the practice hours in, and we're now seeing a new foe. And Inkuna has no choice but to surrender. And yeah, tiltation is a thing. I do believe he was tilted. But I also believe Quirts played an absolute blinder here in this quarterfinal of the qualification tournament 2. And we're going to be seeing him versus Nagano in tomorrow's semi-final. GG, well played. Leaving a window for you to say GG.
It's all good. GG's.
And we're back. In fact, let's go to the brackets, and I will ceremoniously use my admin power, having created this spreadsheet, to announce that Quirts has won 2-0 versus Inkauna. And there we go. And we've got games going on, guys. We've got games going on.
It's locked in, yeah. Gibber and Orange Pestle slugging it out on the bottom bracket there. Love Nest going. I mean, thank God, really, in a way, the Quirts won that game too so quick, because we thought we were in for a 3-hour delight of a best of 3, which can be good, but
not when you've got dinner ready, Ed.
much relief when we're like, we can actually eat. But it's been some great games today, Matt, like of both ways. We saw OKW actually utilized. I know people are asking about them in the chat. They still exist. They're still there as a playable doctrine in the game, don't worry. But the only thing is, mechanized is still very sus, especially when you go for Stuka and don't hit anything. But in the second series, Matt, I think we just saw good mind games there from Quirts. I'm really impressed with him. I think he's come on a lot since the last time we played him, when he was always going Brits and things like that. So yeah, respect to him. He's beaten a very good opponent in Inkauna there, who can come again. And yeah, and then we've got some old classicos like Theodosius against Loveness. Doesn't that feel like 2017 GCS2
I'll tell you what, to get good at this game is very difficult, because we give them ample opportunities, but only some people manage to do it. And hats off to them, hands off to them, and hands up to them, and hats up to them. I mean, excellent stuff. Ed, thank you so much for casting today. I'm going to relieve you of your duty so you can eat family dinner.
Cheers,
you're a legend. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
And look forward to seeing you soon.
Good fun. Cheers.
Right,
take care. Ta-ta.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, so I'm gonna cast a bit of English casting for the Theodosius Love Nest series. Just gonna chill out with a whiskey. It's not gonna be some serious stuff. So don't expect hype a mega casting here, but I do want to watch a bit of it. That said, we do have English casting from Nubius Nath of all people on the Gibber Orange Pest series. So yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So yeah, I mean, I might do that. Also, I may just look to see what else is going on in my life at the moment. It's fair. It's just nice to chill out with you dudes, isn't it? I could just raid over to one of these lovely people. But we do have the option of a bit of English casting of the Love Nest series. So I might do just that and chill out now. Chill mode engaged. As we could go live. So let's find this game and click watch. And then fast forward until we're live. Coke Aster. Vector, you have an interesting mind. Ketflix and pill. Oh dear me. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's about to end already. Really? Is Love Nest that? Oh, he is. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. I mean, if we just restream some of these guys for a second, of course, I will link their actual channels in the chat because I'm a nice guy. But yeah, it's just interesting to observe, isn't it? We've got the... I don't need to fast speed up in that, so I'll get off that. Yeah, Theodosios is heavily back in base. Love Nest is dominating him as OKW right now. It's interesting that we saw 2 OKW games in this series. You know, he's absolutely doing him. Absolutely doing him. Nubius Nathan has an excellent series. I'd urge you to go and check it out. It's Gibber versus Orange Pest. Brits versus Wehrmacht. Where did that come from? It's doing well so far, it must be said, though. I mean, I'm going to go watch that in a second. I'm just creating a bit of a buffer. Hey, Inkauna. Hey, Inkauna. Well played today, mate. I think, although I agree with you about the map being hella campy, you've got to give it to Kurtz, mate. That guy has improved dramatically. I don't know what's happened in the last 6 months, but something's tweaked in his brain because he's showing very mature play now. And his aggressive push versus you after a massive 30 minutes of defensiveness was really impressive. Like, his Panzer IV play to go... No, honestly, his Panzer IV play to go around and take out your Jackson, that showed balls. If you don't think that showed balls, you need to go and rewatch it. Trust me, it showed balls. If you, I don't know, maybe Mill Road would have been better for you. That's fine if you want to say that, whatever. But he went in there and he did the business. So we've seen a lot of great games on this map today, although they have been overly long. But he's a very underrated player, as Boro Badger would say. So I would not sleep on the Quirits. I think Quirit deserves respect, genuinely, because he's got the kind of demeanor, that psychological demeanor that's very good for KO2. You know, that I don't want to call him like a beta male personality or something. It's more kind of like a dark horse personality. They're not in your face. They can handle pressure well. They deal with situations better than the kind of jumpy, testosterone-fueled kind of idiot males. They just do well at KO2 games. It's a known phenomenon. You check out all the guys that are really good at tournament games and they have that psychological profile of maybe like a Quiritz kind of guy. Very chill, very calm under pressure. It's true, in my opinion, at least. You know, the jumpy, aggressive types really don't do well, and Quiritz is really chill. It's not beta alpha. That's a really bad way of describing it, to be honest. I wish I hadn't said that. Yeah, my whiskey kicked in. I didn't even need it for this series. You know, you guys know my system. Caffeine for the first series, whiskey for the second. It's a great system. Theo Lovenest. I can't believe Theo's battled back. Yeah, he's a nice lad as well, Boro. Yeah, I've spoken to him. He's a great guy, to be fair. So, second quality's going well. Wildcard did not do... I knew that would happen. I even warned the players that this is going to happen. We had how many sign-ups? Hang on. Let me get rid of this shit. We had 36 sign-ups, but for the last thingy, after qualification tournament 1, people realised just how hard the game is again. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, I give up. Atif Abdul Hafiz is ready for the big leagues. Should we give him a wild card? He's a Master League patron. What do you reckon? Shall we give it to him? Let's do a poll. Atif. Wow. No, I want to think about this. I'm a bit drunk right now. This is a... That's nice, Boro. To be honest, he's probably going to play anyway. Right, what's happening in Theo Lovenest? Somehow Theo's still in this. I have no idea how that works. But yeah, apparently that's a thing. Don't know what's going on. Credit to the lad. Theatre, we don't need theatre mode, that's shit. Meanwhile, Nubius Nath stream, again, I'll link it in chat. Go and check it out properly. The Brit play of Gibber. Interesting. 15 minutes in, that game's going to go on forever. Orange Pest, I don't know why he gets himself in these situations, because mechanically he's superior to Gibber, but Gibber is, he's throwing some spanners in the works, isn't he, with some of these interesting build orders, and yeah, it's cool. You got to say it's cool, isn't it? He's on form today, Boros says as well. That's nice to hear. Nice to hear. Back on the Theo series versus Love Nest. Just holding the central ground is Theo again. Got the central victory point back. 2 Panzer IV Js. I mean, you've got to feel that Love Nest is biding his time here. But yeah, I think I'll go and host Nubius Nath because he's got the least viewers of the two. And thank you guys for watching. Just want to create a bit of a buffer zone at the end of my stream so I can put it straight on YouTube. Yeah, it's always good to do. And I can upload it straight away and people think it goes all 3 games. Probably doesn't. And yeah, that's what the buffer's for. Maybe I'll wait 5 more minutes actually. Yeah, 5 more minutes of buffer and then we'll raid over to Nubius Nath. Panzer IV down from Theo. Go on, son. New top German player coming in. No hacks needed. Back to Nubius Nath stream with Gibber Orange Pest. Yes, Borrow. He's been around since 2016, mate, in tournaments. People forget with Theo. He's been around a very long time. 5 years of tournament play. Of course, he has levels that other kind of. He did, yeah. He was top in 2v2 at one point, definitely. I think the tournament scene with this series is really feeling strong. I think this series will go down in history, and we're going to be really proud of this one. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to give all the players I'm talking to, I need to make sure we get 16 sign-ups every time. Otherwise, it really diminishes the prestige, in my opinion. But if we maintain 16 solid sign-ups, we've had 2 16 solid sign-ups. Memphis crept in this time. Who's Memphis? He's from Australia, and he's rank 125 on average, so that's not too bad. Abdul Hafiz... Atif Abul, I won't mind if he gets in next time. That'll be pretty cool. Hopefully he does. RG for the win. No offense, but 218. We're not in cannon fodder territory quite yet. But after that, after RG, he holds the line. Then we get to cannon fodder territory of GB Pirate and the rest. So we need to keep away from cannon fodder. If we can have 64 tournaments of 16 players and everyone above this line, we're happy. That's basically the scenario there. Okay, so back to the games. He's Canadian. He's a lovely guy. He's one of the tournament admins because he does all the write-ups for the events. Exactly. Hometown hopeful. Theo's still down on his haunches right now. 29 minutes in. Meanwhile, this is 19 minutes in rather for Gibber Orange Pest. And... yeah, 4 assault infantry, isn't it? And he's got 3 of them with the Brens. That's right, Brens. Yeah. Okay. Commandos as well, and we're gonna go and raid Nubius Nath. Now I think I did 5 minutes. I think so, Burrow. It makes you a man of you. I mean, imagine how many times Quiritz got smashed in the face. And Quiritz is now top 7 in the world easily. Inca Una is around there as well. And personally, he's from Saudi Arabia, mate. I enjoyed getting beaten up by top level players. It's a humbling experience. It shows you where your skill level's at and it makes you a better player. Scrimming versus Lights and Nagano and getting killed in 15 minutes for me really improved my early game. It made me value every troop movement. And I would urge you, if you get the opportunity, if you get in the top 200 auto match, throw yourself in one of these Master League events. Make a man of yourself, and you'll be providing a service. We need full brackets every time, and if you end up like Memphis, being sacrificed to Nagano, and you can make each game last 20 minutes, you've done a service to Markov. Because then Markov is against a slightly tireder Nagano. As it is, I mean... how can Von become a contender? Von went to Russia. He's lost his edge. It's taken him a while to get it back. And Von Ivan just needs to have some critical thinking. He needs to sit back and understand that you don't just work on preservation. You work on your risk management profile. He sees an engagement right now. He'll stay in the capping circle for too fucking long, man. He'll stay in it with a 3-man squad. Every other player in the world will have retreated. You don't just lose squads due to lack of attentiveness, although his attentiveness could be improved. It's his risk management profile that is not strong enough. People say it's his edge, but no, Von's risk management profile is not good enough for elite level play. His vehicle micro used to make up for it. His push understanding of when to push in used to make up for it. But when he's lost his micro a little bit, he's from Pakistan, really, Mr. Azaz, okay. But when he's lost his edge, yeah, it's a tricky predicament to be in, because it really exposes his flaws. And unfortunately for him, I will maintain, I think the Balanced team did an excellent work of making this game a more competitive game with more nuances and more interesting kind of meta over time. Yeah, they had some bad spells with Ostrup, and we did warn them. But in general, the game is very, very viable for 4 factions right now. And even 5 if you include Jibber currently going Brits. But I'm not sure how that's going to work. This is definitely going to decide an ace game. We'll host Nubius Nath in a second. But yeah, I mean, tournament scene's rocking. It may only be followed by maybe 10,000 fans loosely, 2,000 fans closely, 200 fans fanatically. That's throughout the scene. I knew it was Saudi. I don't know why people are saying Pakistan. Just ban the 120 mil easy. I don't know why we would do such a thing. It's a pretty OP unit, yeah, but it doesn't get used every game, so that kind of implies that it's not overpowered. If it doesn't get used every game, it's not overpowered, right? I mean, we know it's powerful, but unless it gets dominant, it's not overpowered. It gets used in like maybe 30% of games right now. It's broken for sure. I mean, I'm not saying it's not powerful, but unless it gets used in every tournament game, I'm not going to ban shit, man. I'm not going to ban shit. If you start seeing it in every tournament game, maybe we'd have to look at it, but it's not the case right now. So yeah. But it's been there since 2014. It's barely been touched. So what you guys are going to sense now, Asher, Inca, Borrow, is you're going to start to find parts of the meta that should have always been meta. You've not had a balance patch for 6 months. And, oh, what's happening here? And that means we're going to start to uncover things. For example, Incoming Heroes 1. Did it? I don't know, mate. I don't know what you're on about. Incoming Heroes 1, I was present for the last 2 years of that tournament scene. And the meta changed a lot without there being a balance patch. It really did change quite a lot. Panzer Elite were incredibly powerful at the start. They ended up being out of tournaments by the end. So it was, give us the freaking game. There's no more games, and you're getting timed out for your insolence. Go away. So yeah, no more games today. We're just talking shit. And I'm going to raid one of these guys. I'm just creating fake screen time on my YouTube video, so people think there's a three games here, but there isn't. I'm just hanging out with you guys. Okay, here we go. So, interest. Has he gone pack? Has Loveness gone for an LEFH there? That's badass. So fucking cool, man. He's a bad man. Theo down to 134 on the victory points. How many support weapons does he have? That's what you usually do when you see an artillery piece. He's got 1, 2, 3. He's got the 120. He's got the... What am I on about? He's got a normal mortar. He's American. He's got a 50 cal and the M1AT gun. I've had a lot to drink, Borrow. Thank you for taking advantage of me. Anytime. Cheers, a strong cup of tea. I love your username. It's a very good username. It's very applicable to my Monday mornings. And yeah, I think we're time for the raid. Whiskey's kicking in. Let's go chill out and watch these games. Hosting Nubius Nath. Raiding him right now. Thanks for watching, guys. Great first day of the tournament. Cheers. That's a salute to you, RGCA. Exactly, KP31 enjoyer. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.